Hey there, Joni. How are you doing? Nice to see you here learning block technique yeah, block stamping. I hope you're doing well. All right, we're just going to give a couple minutes for people to come on board here. While I'm kind of waiting for just a couple minutes, we'll go over some of the cards that I've created. Um, Tomorrow, with less than 24 hours, you have left to subscribe to my card club before we'll move on to April. But just as a reminder, I'm going to show you the 4 cards that I designed for my March card club. I actually started cutting paper about a half an hour before I came on here, just because I gained 2 members. So I have a total of 16 people that participate in my monthly card club, and they all love it. So if you are here on watching me tonight, and if you are on my card club, give a shout out. That would be great. Free advertising for me and for you too. But anyway, so this is one. I'm featuring the Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper, and all the pieces you get all cut and ready to go, except for the Designer Series paper. You will be cutting your own 6x12 paper pack, but I clearly give you the dimensions and all the instructions as well, plus a video. But this is kind of a really fun fold. We use the purple tricolored ribbon and also the basic pearls. You'll get a whole pack of those as well. But this one's really nice. All the die cuts are included. So mossy meadow, old olive, another mossy meadow, and the stitched rectangle. And then the other one there too. And I'll punch out that little butterfly for you as well. So that's card number 1. This one's really pretty. It uses the die cut from the bundle there, and a sweet little bow there that I tied there, that you'll have to tie your own bows, of course. But this piece of paper here is actually popped up with dimensionals, so it gives it a little bit of height over the striped purple height Designer Series paper. On the inside, I did a little second generation background stamp with a message over top. So that's card number 2. And then card number 3 is a kind of a little quick flap, I guess. I don't even know what you want to call it, but my goal was to use the paper in the pack that had the big hydrangeas on it, because sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle as how you cut it. But you can, I designed it with a 4x5 1/4 panel there, and the Stitch So Sweetly scallop rectangle. And then there is a little dragonfly on there too. And then finally, this card here, you are capable of amazing things, uses the heart punch and the bloom punch too, but don't worry, those all come in your monthly kit as well. So that's the inside of the panel. So that's my card club. So it is right here. Actually, this is my host code. But anyway, you can get all the information at inspiredbygraham.com. There is an icon on the right side of my menu bar, and if you click that, it should bring you to the link to you so you can learn more about Card Club. And then my March 1st to the 31st thank you host code is here. It's PUS6CT2F. And with any order of $35 plus, using that host code, that's the biggest thing. You need to use the host code unless your order is over 150. I'll send you a free package of the Mini Stampin Dimensionals in the month of April. And again, my ordering website is inspiredbygraham.com, and that's after my grandmother. Okay, so we're going to get started because this could be a little longer live than it all depends on how it all goes. All right, so these are the cards I came up with. Where we live, we live on a ridge line, so tonight's sunset was gorgeous. I didn't have a chance to take a picture of it, but I just love where we live, and these cards kind of inspired me as to where to go. But we'll be using 2 different stamp sets, and I'll go over those at the end, or in a little bit, but we're going to create the backgrounds first. So this is one of them, And I didn't do the inside of this card because I was kind of focusing on this part. And then here's another look. All right, this one uses Pool Party with the early espresso. And here's this really pretty one. So this one kind of reminds me of where I live, because I usually get these like deep yellows at the bottom and then really some strong reds and oranges. But instead, these are, I believe, maple trees that I don't have foliage on them. So that's what our maple trees look like now. But just pretend these are all pine trees, and that's what you'll get at our house there. So I used the In Good Taste Designer Series paper on the backs here panel. And then what else did I do? I used many messages for all the sentiments in the 3 cards that we created. And I did the tapping technique with the Winka Stella. So you've got those little, I don't even know if you can see it. Maybe on this one here you can see it. Not this, because that's a splatter of Pretty Peacock, but there's some Winka Stella splattered all over the card, which kind of gives it a nice little, you know, kind of like sparkle effect, I guess. And let me just see if you can see this one as well. I used a new embossing folder that I just got. We'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, so if you guys want to get your paper out, you'll need probably, I'm working with the, what is this? E-block, okay? E-block works great, okay? I need to get some paper towels here. So you'll definitely need some paper towels. And again, you'll need some cardstock. So this is cut about, I don't know, 3, how do you even check? Let me just see. It's cut 3.5 by 4.5. So 3.5 by 4.5 if you've got some white paper, preferably basic white. And the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a clean block, okay? That's really important because you don't want any kind of like glue or anything like that on your block. So I just have this really disgusting gross rag here, and some hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer has alcohol in it, so that's how I clean my block. So I'm just going to put a bunch on here, kind of squish it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to clean the block, okay? So we'll just go back and forth, make sure there's no kind of glue residue on your block. Okay, so that's probably pretty good. I'm going to use this paper towel just to get any of that residue of the hand sanitizer off. We don't want that on there. Okay, so that is that. I'm going to actually get some white cardstock because I think that might be hard to see what I'm trying to do here. So let me grab some out of my file cabinet here, and you guys can kind of tell me if, I'm going to see if it looks better. I just got to get my laptop to catch up. Oh, I don't know if that's any better or not. I think it's like worse. That I have a ring light, so I think that's really causing an issue. Okay, let me just, oh, I don't know. Maybe I should just turn it down. Hold on just a second. Yeah, if I turn it off, then it's going to be probably too dark. Oh yeah, that's horrible. So unfortunately, we'll have to deal with the ring light, and I'll try my best to make it work. But you'll need markers, okay? So Stampin' Right markers. I have a ton of them here, okay? You don't need to use that many if you don't want to, but I kind of work with a bunch. So I did different, so I started, this one had green on it and went all the way up with different colors of pinks and oranges. This one here, we did a water. So I started with blue and yellows and some kind of oranges. And then this is like super, super bright with yellows and oranges as well. So we're going to create 3 different backgrounds. And here we go. So what I do, so I'm going to create the water one first. So I want to make sure I have some blue markers. Okay, so I kind of just line them up. and I try to kind of decide what I want for coloring. I like to use Calypso Coral a lot because that's kind of a bright color, but on this one I'm just kind of, I try to make it a little bit lighter. The thing is with this technique, you're never going to get the same look, okay? So this here, what I created earlier, is not going to be what I'm going to make right now, okay? Because it's going to be just so different. So what you want to do is take about 6 colors, okay? So we'll just start with those. Who knows if it's going to work or not, but if it doesn't work, I'll try again. I'm also going to have some paper towels here because we're going to be spritzing, okay? And we want the paper towel underneath our block. And this is a spritz, okay? I could not find it in the annual catalog, so I wrote down the item number here. It's called a Stampin Spritzer. This is an older style one. The one that they showed online has got the like gray Stampin' Up colors there. But it's item number 126185, and they're $3 a piece plus your tax. Okay, so these are come handy, and there's a little pump on the top here as well. So I'm gonna work my blues first, and I'm gonna be going horizontally. On these markers here, there's a brush tip and a fine point tip. You wanna always be working with a brush tip. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add my blues first, and it doesn't really matter where they go. So you're just going to go back and forth like this, okay? And then I'm going to just take another blue and just go up a little bit higher, okay? And now the third blue, I'm going to go more like, it's like a river, I guess. Because if you see here, we kind of went up in a triangle. So it's not always straight across, okay? So I'm just going to keep going. Don't worry if the ink dries. That's okay, because that's what the spritzer is going to do. Now I want to add in my colors of the sky. So this is kind of like, it's getting to be like an evening time. So I'm just going to go like this. You don't want to go straight across, okay, because you don't want it to look like lines, okay. Then I'm going to go with the darker color. I think this is Poppy Parade, so you could use red. So I'm just kind of going like this. Again, I'm not going straight across. Then I'll get some of this. I think this is Pumpkin Pie. Nope, Mango Melody. We'll see what Mango Melody does. Who knows? I might have to throw in a different orange if I don't think it's going to turn out very good. Okay, so I've got those colors on there. I got 6 different colors. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to one of these, the Poppy Parade. I'm just going to put a little bit in there just to kind of tone down that yellow. All right, so now this is, I'm going to put these aside. We're going to make sure, let me just pull this over to the edge here because I need space over here to stamp. So again, I've got some basic white that's 3.5 by 4.5, just a scrap, okay? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this spritzer, and you got to make sure that it's pointing, you know, straight down. So I always like to practice off to the side. And this is just water out of my, oops, it's my sink. Okay, let's go. So I'm just adding the water there. Again, I don't know what this is going to turn out like, but we'll give it a shout and try. So I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to watch. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but I'm not touching it at all. I'm letting that ink go all over. And then for me, I can see it starting to kind of soak into the white. You probably will not be able to see it. Unfortunately, that darn ring light is horrible. and there's no way around it. But trust me, if I turn it off, it didn't work very good. So hopefully you guys can see this. Now I'm going to peel this off. There was too much water on this one, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dab this off a little bit. Okay? Now this is going to kind of get all kind of folded, and but we're going to set this aside and dry it later. Right now the ink is absorbing into that white, and it is getting lighter because it's starting to dry, but it's pretty wet right now. So we're just going to again set this aside, and we're going to create a different look. So as you can tell, these are going to look totally different. Okay, but we did kind of get that triangle effect of the water. Okay, so let's set this one aside, and then the next thing you want to do is you're going to clean that block off. And let's see who's on. Oh, hey Patty, and Linda's on. Awesome, I've got a couple people watching, so that's great. All right, so the next design we're going to go for is this one here. So yellows and some really deep kind of red and oranges. And then this is a stamped on tree. So what I want to do with this one is I'm going to bring in some yellows. So I don't know, some of these are retired colors, but that's not. Crushed curry. Let's go with Daffodil Delight. I'm going to use, this is Cajun Craze. Let's do the Poppy Parade because it's going to be really, really bright, and maybe some Calypso Coral. We'll try that and see what we get. So I've got, let's bring in some pumpkin pie as well. Okay. So I want to do the yellow down here because I'm creating the sunset that's at my house, typically on any given night when it's sunny out, or was sunny when we have no clouds. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to take some Daffodil Delight, just go across but not straight, so I'm just going to kind of bring it up in certain areas. And then this is Crushed Curry. So again, just kind of scribble it around. You can go down into where that Daffodil Delight was, and now I'm going to bring in, I want a darker, like reddish color. So let's do the Cajun Craze. So this one you'll probably be able to see a little bit easier. And then we'll do Calypso Coral. And then Pumpkin Pie. And then Poppy Parade. Now I'm just going to kind of go like this. And maybe bring in some more of that pumpkin, oh no, this is Crushed Curry. Actually, I'm going to actually throw a different color in. I'm going Pumpkin Pie with this. Get some of that orange in there. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. I'm not sure if it'll be any good, but we'll give it a shot or try. So let me just, I don't know, I'll try to bring it up to the camera so this could be like really super close. But I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's lots of colors of inks on there. I've got my white all ready to go, and then my spritzer, and I'm just going to hover over top and just spritzing water on there, and then we'll bring this right over here, flip it over, and here we go. Okay, this one is going to be really different than the card I created, or the one I created earlier. Let me see if I can bring this up so you can kind of see it. Oh, it's not going to work because there's too much water. So I'm just going to press this. Okay, and now we'll just peel it off. Again, too much water. You know what's happening is I'm spritzing too much on there, but that's okay. Just use your rag. That's why you have a rag with you. And look at this. This is like nowhere close to this one, right? So, like I said, you never know what you're gonna get, but that's what's fun about it, right? Okay, so then the next one we're gonna create is with a green theme. Because I wanted to get some of the grass down here. We stamped with the mountain air. I think this is called Waterfront Stamp Set with the mountains in green. So I had a background underneath here of green already, and then we just kind of worked our way up. So let's clean our block off one more time. I'll show you some other ones that I kind of got mounted. So here's two more that I did last night. Typically what I would do is I would do all of the block stamping one day, and then the next day I would come back and stamp on them. I like to air dry everything out, but tonight I'm going to have to use my heat tool to kind of get them dried up. So does anybody have any questions yet? If you have any questions, and I'm really sorry about that ring light, maybe if I go over a little bit more you won't see it, but we'll give it a try. So we're going to go with green this time and some yellows. I'm going to go more Poppy Parade and yeah, I think, and Flirty Flamingo. I don't think I've used Flirty Flamingo yet, so we're gonna work with this one, these colors. Okay, so I've got Flirty Flamingo, Calypso Coral, Poppy Parade, Daffodil Delight, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, and Granny Apple Green. Okay, so this one here does not have Granny Apple Green in it, so we're gonna give it a try. Okay, so the grass. I'm going to start with Mossy Meadow, and we're just going to add it down here. It's a dark green, so you don't want to use too much of it. And then Old Olive. This one, you can't even see it. That'd be interesting. So I'm pulling up some of that Mossy Meadow as well. And then let's add that Granny Apple Green, which is going to be a really pretty bright color. Probably too bright. If it's too bright, I'll just do it again. All right, now I want to bring in some of that yellow. So we've got the Daffodil Delight. It's really hard to see because it's very, very light color. And then let's go with Flirty Flamingo. And then we're going to go with some Poppy Parade. I want the darkest color in the middle. You can really see that one, hopefully. And then we're going to finish off with Calypso Coral. Again, I'm using the brush tip. So these markers have two different tips, a chisel tip and a brush tip. Okay, so I think that's kind of what I want for a look, hopefully. I'm going to add some more of this yellow here because I need it a little bit lighter in this area because we're going to be stamping the mountain range. Okay. All right, we're going to give this one a try, and hopefully I don't put too much water on it. Maybe I'll stand up this time because sitting down is a little bit harder than standing up. Okay, so we're going to give it a try. So I've got that on there. And then we're going to flip it over and see what we get. So again, I want that green on the bottom and some yellow. So the ink is being absorbed into the paper right now. Just make sure it gets all absorbed. Hopefully I didn't spray too much water on it. Okay, so that's not too bad. It's a little straight going across, but I think that's going to be okay because the mountain range is going to, we're going to stamp over that. I don't know if I really like that granny apple green there, but we'll see. We'll probably cover that up anyway. All right, so that is that. Now, I got to find what I did with the first panel I stamped because I don't see it anywhere. So we might just have to, let's see. Nope, I don't know where it is. We're gonna stamp one more. Okay, so that was the blue one. Where did, oh, there it is, I see it, never mind. It was way over. Okay, so here, let me just show you what we just created. I think I can work with all three of these. This one's a little not so great, but that's okay. So here's the watered look. And then this one's kind of more of a brownish color. And then that's the one we just created here. Okay, so again, here are the cards that I kind of made. We'll go over real quick, a couple of you guys that just came on. So waterfront stamp set. And then this one here is with the waterfront stamp set. And then this one here is, I can't even remember. I haven't used it in so long. Winter Woods. Okay, I want all nature today. Okay, so now what we need to do, since normally I would let these dry overnight, that way it's naturally drying, but I can't do that tonight with a YouTube Live. So I'm gonna hit these up with my heat tool to dry them. So a heat tool is here. You'll see some, or hear some noise. But here we go. It won't take too long. So I'm just using the heat tool over the front. And then I'm gonna come to the back side because it's usually damp on the back side as well. Get this one. A lot of times when you dry it, even naturally, the ink colors are going to be lighter. Okay. And then this one is pretty damp, so it's going to curl a lot. But when it starts curling, just flip your paper over and come to the other side, and it should flatten out pretty good. Joni, you had asked if we can use our blends. You know, I've never tried it with blends. It's an alcohol-based, I could give it a, I could try right now. So let me just, yeah. You know what, I don't mind trying if you don't mind watching. We can try blends. They're alcohol-based, so I'm not really honestly sure if we can or not. But we'll give it a try and see what it looks like. I'll pull some. I don't have a lot of blends, but let me grab some. Okay, I got some yellows and what have you. I've got a few here. We'll give it a try. I'm okay doing that. Okay, so we're gonna start with this is Dark Mango Melody. We'll see what this looks like. And then I'm going to throw in some light daffodil delight. I'm just going to try to create a sunset. Okay. And I don't want to go too straight, so let's go up a little bit. Then I've got, this is Dark Calypso Coral. Definitely can see the ink a lot better, that's for sure. And then we're going to go Cherry Cobbler Dark. So I'm using mostly all dark. This could be way too dark, but this is going to be really interesting. Okay. Now I'm going to throw some of that pumpkin pie into... Yeah, I don't have an alcohol sprayed bottle. unfortunately, we're trying water. We'll see if it works. But yes, alcohol for sure. All right, so we got something hot, really going on crazy. All right, so I'm going to take all these markers off my work surface because I need the space. Let me grab my... Okay, we'll give it a try. Why not? Okay, so we're going to try water. Let's see what happens. Probably nothing, but we'll see. There's definitely water on there. It's probably way too much, but let's give it a yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. I probably should have known that, but I've never tried it, and I'm pretty sure it's not gonna work. Nope, because we need alcohol. But that's okay. I got a block here that I'll clean, but that answers your question. You can't do it with water. Okay, so we're gonna just erase that all up. Oh. All right, so we are going to clean this all up here. I need to bring in the Stampin' Cut, Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Looking for my rectangle here. Well, I'm just going to put everything I need down here. Okay, so these are the ink colors. I'll come across it somewhere. Okay, so I'm using Pumpkin Pie, Old Olive, Early Espresso, Seaside Spray, Pool Party, and Pretty Peacock. These are all the inks I'm going to be using tonight in all three of the cards. The ribbons I'm going to be using are different ones, of course. This one is called the Braided Linen Trim. This one is the Pool Party Sheer Ribbon. And then here's the Mossy Meadow braided linen or thread. So that's our kind of embellishments there. Let's see. We have, for stamp sets, Waterfront, and I have Winter Woods. Those are the two we're going to use tonight. I also used the Rooted in Nature for the panels that I showed earlier. Okay, I'll have to mount these on cards later another time. So that's that. And then we're also using Many Messages for all the sentiments. Okay, you've seen me use that one in the dies earlier in a different video. And then the embossing folders I used tonight in the cards, this is my new one. It's called Dainty Diamonds 3D. And then here's an old staple that I had in my craft room called Woodland. And then I'm using the stitched rectangles. We'll need this one. I'm hoping that's the one. Yes, thank goodness. So you can use the stitch rectangles, or you can just cut out the panels from with your trimmer. Okay, so we're going to work with these, and we're going to die cut all of those, and then we'll kind of assemble the cards. So hopefully you guys are still with me. I hope your evening is going well, and you had a great week. Today's Friday, so that's great news, right? Going into the weekend. Okay, so I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try. I've got my plate and my platform, my plate, and then I need. So we're going to go it this way. I'm going to add this stitched rectangle, and I'm just going to try to get the pieces that I want, or the colors that I want the best. Again, you could trim this down if you wanted to. Now, this is not sticking because that paper is bent. and it's not completely flat. So you can just use some washi tape on one side, that should be fine. I'm gonna add the other acrylic plate in, and then I'm just gonna turn my machine here a little bit so I can crank this through. So right now I'm cutting out that little panel. And then we've got one of those, okay? So that's that one. You could also stamp on your panel and then die cut it out. Why don't I save one of these for that process so you can kind of see two different ways of stamping. And then this one I'm just gonna die cut as well. I'm just kind of moving it to where I want it to be. I want some of that darker orange there that's at the top, so I'm kind of moving this die all the way up. Okay, so just crank this through. All right, so we've got those two cut out, and then the other one I'm going to cut out to show you a different way of doing this too. Okay, we'll save this because we'll need it. Okay, so we've got the mountains, we've got the water, and we've got the trees. I'm going to stamp the trees first. So we will be using winter woods to do that. We're going to be using these trees here, and I'm going to be using early espresso ink. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp everything and then assemble. Okay, so I've got my early espresso. And then this is a pretty large stamp. Again, I've got it on an E block, the same size block that I used previously to do all these. I'm also going to need some scrap paper, so let me grab some of that. It's so hard to remember exactly what you need. So sorry if I kind of go off to the side. So since this is a larger stamp, I'm using the ink pad to the stamp, just like that. Make sure it's really nice and inked up. And let me just bring this card. This is the one we're making here. And now I'm just going to stamp down. I'm just letting that ink absorb into the paper. Okay, so we've got that so far. Now, if you want to add another tree over here and over here, you can. So I'm going to actually try to get this paper to be a little bit flatter. So I'm just going to use my bone folder very gently so it flattens out. And it'll be easier to stamp. Okay, there we go. So now what I want to do, if you see this card here, I extended the trees over to the right so it goes all the way to the edge, and on this side as well. We're going to do the same thing. So when I do that, I like to start with the trees in the middle and then work on the edges. So again, I'm just going to ink up the whole stamp, and then I'm going to move this over to the left because I want to protect my surface with a scrap paper. And now I'm just going to stamp right over that tree that's already on there to create it there going all the way to the edge. Now what you need to do is you need to re-ink this because you've already hit the paper once, and it's going to be too light over there with ink. See, let me show you. See, it's much lighter. So you just simply have to re-ink your stamp, and then we're going to stamp this area over here. I'm going to overlap the trees. It's fine to do that. And there you go. Okay, so that's that one here. I used early espresso. You could use, if you wanted a softer brown, you could use soft suede. That would be another good color as well. All right, so that one is all done. The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to make this one here, okay, the mountain range, and I kind of wasn't going to put the sun in there, but I did. And I don't know if I like it or not, but I think it turned out pretty good. So I want to make this flat, so I'm just going to use my bone folder to do that. Okay, so that's semi-okay. We're using photopolymer stamps next, so we need to use the Stampin' the Pierce mat. So mine is way over. So I've got it right here. I'm just going to protect it with the scrap paper, and then bring this one in. Of course, I want my green on the bottom. I'm going to also be using Mossy Meadow, which I did not bring, so let me grab that. Guess I put that away too quickly last night. All right, so in this one is really easy because it's only using 2 stamps in that stamp set. Waterfront. So Waterfront is this one here. It's been around for a while. It's in the annual catalog. It's another one of my favorites, just because it's all more nature or anything. Okay, so we need to have the mountain range here, which is on a D block, and I'm going to grab the sun. Okay, we're going to try to do the sun. So I need pumpkin pie and mossy meadow. So to do this, I've got double mountain ranges here, maybe triple. So I'm going to go across with one, and then I'm going to stamp in front of it to create more depth. So we're going to ink this up. Again, I'm using mossy meadow. If you want to practice, you can just practice on your scrap paper, but it is kind of a 3D look. So I'm going to stamp up high. Okay, so it's in the middle, and then we're just going to re-ink, and then I'm just going to aim that kind of mountain peak about an inch off of that other mountain peak, okay? And now I'm going to go on to the left side and do the same thing. Okay, and then I want to add something over here. It just needs a little bit of a mountain range over here. Okay, so that's good. It's good, but it needs more depth because there's just too much of that green on the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to stamp, and I'm going to aim this stamp right in the gap here. Okay, so these are the mountains that are furthest away, and these are a little bit closer up. Okay. Oh, that was horrible. Let me try to get that again. Oh, I'm gonna wreck this one. I think it's that the green that I used, but that's okay. We'll just keep winging it. Just gonna create more depth with the mountains. Kind of like rolling hills. Hopefully you guys understand this. Oh, I don't know. I really flopped this one up bad. All right, so that's okay. And now we're going to take that pumpkin pie. You guys can all laugh at me. Oh, this is horrible. All right, and I'm going to add some sun. Okay, it's starting to set, but it's not really setting yet. So we're just going to add that sun right there. You can barely see it, but that's all right. Okay. And so that one is all set and stamped. Now let's see if we can really screw up the water scene. All right, so when this one, we have lots of trees. We got the little cabins, 3 cabins, and then we've got this water. So we're gonna start with stamping. Let me try to think what I did first. I stamped the trees, then the cabin, then the water. So we're gonna do the same thing. All right, so we need a mossy meadow, early espresso, and then all the blues. So I don't need this pumpkin pie anymore, so we're gonna close that one out. Okay, so here is our paper here. And we're going to find the trees. Let's see, here they are. They're on a really big block and not straight, so let me just get those on there. I would use, normally I would use a smaller block, but all of my blocks are mounted and ready to go for my card club and the other class I was offering. So it's been a little crazy here. Okay, we're using, let me just think. I used mossy meadow again, so we're gonna add mossy meadow to the trees. And I'm just going to kind of stamp them right kind of in that water edge there, and I'm going all the way around. Okay, granted some of this is going to get cut off, and that's okay. So I've got all my trees. And now we're going to add the little cabin. And this is in early espresso, a dark brown. So we'll add a cabin there. And I added too many trees. So let's add a little cabin on the edge there. And then we'll add a cabin right here. So 3 cabins. Okay. Now let's create the water. To do that, I used Pretty Peacock Pool Party and Seaside Spray. And I know I started with the Pool Party. And then we've got 3 different stamps here that we're going to be using from Waterfront. We got the splatter here, which will be in Pretty Peacock. And then we've got this little kind of ripple effect. And then we got some more kind of different type of ripple effect. So this kind of mimics the, I guess, the river. So I'm gonna go like this, okay? This is gonna be the darkest color. And I'm just going to add it right about there, okay? So it's trickling down, okay? And then I'm going to pick up again, because I'm not sure where I'm going to die cut this yet, so I'm just turning this stamp the other direction, kind of lining it up just like that. Now I'm going to take Seaside Spray, and I'm going to add this one here just to give it a little different color. And I'm just going to kind of just go back and forth. Okay, now let's add the splatter with Pretty Peacock. Now Pretty Peacock is one of those colors that's going away. It's retiring, unfortunately. I love this color. And now we're just going to add splatter kind of throughout. Okay. Maybe I'll add a little bit up in this area too. Okay, that's probably plenty. Okay, so now this one we have to die cut. So let me just close up all these ink pads, see if there's any questions. Doesn't look like it. Okay, All right, so let me grab that Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and we'll get this one cut out, and then we can start assembling. Like I said, we're not going to get any one of these cards. Not going to be the same. That's what's kind of fun about it. Okay, so now this all depends on where I want to place this. So I just want to get this die as close to the top of this as I can. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm just going to add this plate over top. And then we're just going to crank it all the way through. Sorry if the table kind of goes crazy. Okay. Alrighty, so let's see what we got. That's not too bad. Okay. All right, so let me grab my card kits and we'll get all these together. All right, so we will make this one first. So I'm bringing this one back into the picture again. This is kind of what we're going to be making and assembling. All right, the reason why I chose the mossy meadow is because the mossy meadow is the color in the trees. And this paper here is cut 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. And that matches really nicely with this stitched rectangle. We just have a little bit of cardstock showing underneath the stamped image here. So let's grab, I'm going to try to use this multi-purpose liquid glue because we got a thin layer or border. So we're just going to add this on here. And I'm going to press from the back side, and I want to make sure I press pretty good because that paper is still a little bit curled. So we've got a little kind of border all the way around, just like that. And then here is the embossing folder called Woodland. It's got the trees. This embossing folder has been around for a long time. I'm wondering if they're going to retire it. My guess is they're going to retire it. I have this feeling. Hopefully they'll bring something. If they do retire it, and in just a couple of days, we'll know soon, they'll bring something back that's very similar. Okay, so I'm working with Pool Party Base, and this is your 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. And then this is just the early espresso panel that has been embossed with Woodland. I'm going to take the glue, and we're just going to adhere this right down to the card base. Okay, and just got an equal border all the way around. And when you're working with embossed paper, you just want to just press a little bit longer than normal, just to make sure it gets all stuck down there. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to take that sheer ribbon, which is Pool Party. It's the same color as the card base, and we're going to create a nice little bow. So I'm going to wrap this around the inside, making sure it's flat on the inside, just like that. And then I'm going to bring this bolt all the way across. Now, I don't know if Lee is on here, but she doesn't look like it. Lee, one of my subscribers and actually my card club participant, said she heard me say I didn't have any tweezers. So guess what? She sent me some tweezers. It was so nice of her. So I'm just starting to learn how to use these little EK crafting tweezers, so bear with me, but I would still want to try them because I need to practice. So I'm going to take this like this, and then these tweezers, because you have to do them opposite of the normal, open them up, and then I'm going to pinch this ribbon here where the knot is, and that's going to hold it, okay? And now I'm just going to create my bow, hopefully I can, and it doesn't slide around. Now Patty, I don't know if you're still on here or not, but are these the tweezers that you bring to the class, the in-person class with me? They're EK tweezers. But anyway, see how that was? It was like super easy, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to move that bow all the way over. Now, if you're creating this for making a masculine card, well, I don't know if I would use fancy kind of frilly ribbon, but you know what? Women do like nature. And if you're like me, you like to enjoy mountain scenes and what have you, and hiking or whatever, going to a cabin, spending the weekend at a cabin. Well, this card's for a woman too, I think. All right, so we're just going to angle cut the ends here because they're just a little bit too long. And then we're going to pull in this piece here. All right, and then to do that, I'm just going to bring in some Stampin Dimensionals. These are the regular ones. And we'll just add 5 of them. I'm going to put 4 in the corners, and then 1 I'm going to just kind of move a little bit so it's not right in the middle because that ribbon is going to be there. Okay, and we'll just peel those off. Okay, and then we're going to add this here. And it's kind of centered over that ribbon. And then just press where those dimensionals are. And there you go. So now if you wanted to put a sentiment on this one, you can go to your many messages. I have mine all in a container here. And what I would do is you could probably put a really small one on if you wanted to. Put one like right here. That might be a little bit too much. So the good thing about the stamp set is that you can kind of mix and match and kind of figure out what is going to work. So let's see if sending, yeah. I like the little tiny ones because that will work really nice. So I've got sending a smile your way, and we're just going to add a little bit of this liquid glue to the back. And then we're just going to tuck this right over to this side here so it doesn't distract from the image there. Okay, so here you go. This is a really bright sunset. And the card that I made earlier is here, so you can see that they're all so very different. And this one I did not put a sentiment on. I still need to tap with the Wink of Stella on this one. Totally forgot that one. So to do that, you guys probably have seen me do this. I know some of you guys that are watching see me do this. So I've got my Wink of Stella in my right hand. I'm just going to tap over, and I just need to add a little bit into the barrel. Okay, we'll tap again. And then this is just kind of, the Wink of Stella is just going onto the card itself to give it a little bit of sparkle. And you probably can't see that, but I can see it, and it does sparkle throughout. Okay, so that's the first card, okay? I really like this sunset. This is really, this one really pops. And you can see how different they all are, okay? All right, so that's that one. And let's see what the next one is going to bring. Okay, we're going to make, we'll go with this one next. Okay, so here's the one we stamped. Little crazy on that one, but we'll see if we can fix it. Oh, that's not the one I want. I want this one. Okay, so not a lot of pieces to this one either. And this is all the same process, you guys, okay? So this is a Mossy Meadow panel again, and I'll just use our liquid glue. Kind of dried out. I didn't put the cap on. There we go. I gotta remember to put that cap on. Okay, so since it's a really small border, we're just going to put it down real slowly and then just move it into place. And then I'm gonna press from the back side just because that paper is kind of still curled. Okay, I'm gonna put the cap on this so it doesn't dry out, and then I always store mine like this so that glue stays in there. Okay, so then here is our embossed panel already. You can put it on either side, like this is the smooth side, and then this is kind of the rough side. I like the rough side showing, so we're gonna add the glue to the back side, the smooth side. Okay. And then we're gonna add this right on, equal distance. This was cut 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, then we're going to use that the Mossy Meadow trim, and we're going to create the same kind of bow. My goal was to make a set of cards that you can kind of give as a gift, and that are kind of all built in the same kind of manner. Now, if I don't want to use the tweezers, you can just create your bow this way. See if I can do it. There we go. Not too bad. And then we will take our scissors and angle cut. I think that one's pretty good. So with this one, I want to move this all the way over to the left side. Okay. And now this one here is going to get popped up again. Now this ribbon here is going to kind of go this way. So let's see if I can train it to go at an angle or just move it over just a little bit more. Okay. That's not too bad. I'm just going to be centered. In the same manner, you need to do is you need to add your 5 dimensionals to the back side. Oh my God, my husband's snoring. My craft room is right next to the bedroom, and I can hear him right through the walls. So I don't know if you guys can hear him. Oh boy, he's gonna work early in the morning. Okay, so we're just gonna add this right to the center. And then we'll add another one of those sentiments. So let's grab one of those sentiments from our box. This stamp set does come with sentiments, but I kind of like the fact that you can just pull out one of these. Let's add that one. Sending happy thoughts. And I want to see if I want red. I think the green is going to look better, so we're just going to do that. And then I can close those up. And then this one here, we'll just add some glue to the back side. It's a really small kind of square, but it's got a nice little angle cut on the corners as well. Makes it a little fancy. We're just going to tuck this right here in the corner. Okay, that's that. And we'll bring in our Wink Stella again, and we'll do some splatter effect with a Wink Stella. Okay, and there's this one, and then here's this one. Now this bow got a little tucked in underneath and it's a smaller bow, so there, let's fix that one. This one's probably way too big, so I'll fix that one a little bit later. But this one actually didn't turn out too bad now that I look at it. It does have lots of depth of mountain ranges, so I would say there's like 3 different mountain range depths there. So that looks pretty good. Again, we use the stitch rectangle and just the layering underneath that as well. Okay, so then the final card is the this one here. And I like this one because I wanted to bring in some wood grain paper in this card design. And let me just bring in the example here. Okay, really nice deep wood grain with a pop of the early espresso here. And then we've got the braided linen thread as well. So it's like a crumb cake color. So all those look really nice together. And again, we're just gonna mount that panel that we kind of created together onto that early espresso with our liquid glue. And then we're just gonna add it right down here. Again, I'm just going around the edges first, and then I'm gonna flip it over and just rub it from the behind here. Okay, so we got a little bit of glue coming out, not too bad. So that looks pretty good. I wish I would have used more of that Poppy Parade down here, because the first card I made is like really, really cool. But that's okay, it's no worries. All right, so we've got our early espresso card base, and then we've got the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. And this is just 1/8 of an inch smaller than your card front. And we'll just add this here. Again, I try to focus when I have small eighth of an inch borders. I like to work on one corner and get that set, and then just slide everything else in place. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna flip this one over, and we'll add our Stampin Dimensionals, all 4 of them, around the edges, and then one in the middle, off-centered. And then we'll just press here, and then peel them off. Before I put this on, I have to add that linen thread, so let me do that here. I don't have very much left on here, but there should be plenty though. Again, I'm just going to add this to the inside, make sure it's flat, and then bring it all the way over. And then this one, I'm going to use my tweezers this time. And thank you, Lee, for sending those to me. So I now have a pair of nice tweezers that I can work with. And they're going to be great for heat embossing, especially in my in-person class. So I'm just going to take this, and pardon me because I've only used these a couple times, so I'm still getting used to them. But they are very helpful. There we go. That was easy. I'm going to snip this off here at an angle, and then here at an angle. You're probably wondering, or thinking to yourself, Karen doesn't have a pair of tweezers in her craft room. Well, I have the regular like tweezers like you have in your bathroom, but honestly, I have looked and searched high and low for crafting tweezers in my area where I live, and I could never find them. So thanks again, Lee, for helping me out. All right, so then here's our sunset with the trees. This is kind of like what I see out my yard, except for I would see pine trees, but right now, maple trees are not have any foliage on them, thank goodness, because if they did, that means the sugaring season would be done. We just started sugaring and making maple syrup this week, so it's been kind of fun. All right, so that's that. It definitely needs a sentiment. So let's go back to our mini messages little container here. And we're gonna pop something on. I think, let's see what we've got here. That's like way too big. It's got to be something, again, really small. So that's too big. How about this? No, that's not what I want either. Let's look at this one and see. That's too big as well. So we're going to say happy anniversary, because this could be an anniversary card for my husband in July. So we are going to do that instead. So my biggest thing is, what color do I want? I think I'm going to go with the red. I think that was, I stamped it in cherry cobbler, but that will look really nice with the background there. So we're just going to add the happy anniversary. Some of you guys may not think it makes any sense for an anniversary card, but it does for me, because we both love nature. Okay, so I'm going to just offset that and call it good. All right, so let's do a recap, you guys, so we can kind of see what I created tonight. So here's these two. Try to push these up as far as I can and not go off camera. So we got the happy anniversary, and we've got one that says just wanted to say. And then on the inside of this one, let me show you what I did. I said hi there, and then with the trees. And then here's the mountain range. Okay, so, oh, I didn't put the Wink of Stella on this one, but I'll go back and do that later. So here's the card that we made, this one on camera. And then here's this one I made last night. And see, you can see there's something so different. And then the beach kind of cabiny, or not beach, but rivers kind of scene. Here's the one that I created with you guys. And this one I did not put a sentiment on it, because I'm going to save this one, and then when I find out who I want to send it to, then I'll add a sentiment depending on the situation. So 3 different cards, and all really pretty. So there you go. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and if you are interested in my card club, it does expire for the month of March. As a reminder, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll go through the 4 cards that I'm starting to cut cardstock for. I have space for only 4 more people. I'll max out at 20. That is definitely my maximum number, and I'm at 16 right now. So I'm starting to cut tonight and all weekend. All right, so here's card number 1 for March. Here's a really fun flap kind of card, and then here's a really pretty hydrangea, all using Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper. And then here's a really fun fold with a little butterfly there. All right, so all that information I'll post in the description box with a link, and also the stamp sets and some of the supplies I've used to make this card with you guys tonight, those 3. So again, I hope you guys have a really, really nice weekend. And if you have any questions or any kind of anything I did tonight, or you just something wasn't clear, you can leave a comment in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you on those. And also you can email me, and make if you're not on my email list, please do subscribe to it. You can go to inspiredbygram.com to sign up for my email list, and that way you'll get the links to all my class offerings and my club offerings as well. So I hope you have a great night, and you take care and be well, and hopefully you get vaccinated really soon. All right, take care. Bye.